Hi there, this is Donna Kozik from mybigbusinesscard.com and creator and leader of the original Write a Book in a Weekend program. And here I want to talk a little bit about having a book as a big business card and how that differs from being a book author in general. So first of all, how this all came about in how I refer to a book as a big business card is that I wrote a book myself called 29 Days to a Smooth Move, a household moving manual. And what happened is when you write a book, everybody's like, hey, that's so cool. You wrote a book. How'd you do that? And so I started talking to people about how I wrote a book. And then I decided to turn it into a business to show people how to write a book to use as a big business card. And that came from one of my first clients, Peter Wallen. And he said, you know, Donna, I'm going to use this book as a big business card. So right from the get-go, even though my book wasn't a big business card, I thought it would be great if a book could do double duty, not only to be out there, to be sharing good information with readers, but also to serve as a lead generator, as a way to build credibility, as a way to have something to give away when you're speaking. That's my thinking of having a book as a big business card, which I may have already gotten to the punchline, but you're going to hear that again because I think it's so important. So that's the difference. It is two paths to choose from. And at the first one is, again, having a book to be an author. So when you're having a book to be as an author, that book becomes a mini business for you, where it's like, oh, I've got to promote this book. I've got to sell this book. I want to get this book out there. I want to be on podcasts talking about this book. And not that there's anything wrong with that, except that you're not going to make a lot of sales or not make a lot of money from book sales. I hope you make lots of sales, but your income from that book will be dependent on the number of sales that you make. So the flip side of that, of having the book as a big business card, is where you give the book out instead of selling it. Now you can sell it, and it's not like you have to give it out like you give business cards out at networking events or anything like that, but you're a little looser with who gets the book, and you're not worried about getting, $10 or $15 or $20 in exchange for that book. Instead, you're looking at the reader, the person who's receiving the book, as a potential client for you, as a potential customer. And so that's where the book serves as a business card. It is a connector between you and a person who might want to hire you. All right. So that's what you want to do. You want to pick one of those avenues. And just so you know, you can't mess up. All right. Now, I more the tendency of having that book as a big business card. But if your heart is set on being an author and making money from selling books, then that's fine. But you're going to put your heart and your soul into it. See, that's the thing. You can't mess up if you put your passion, if you put your desire, if you put your energy, if you put your activity behind the path that you choose. Personally, I think the easier path is having that book as a business card and then selling coaching programs and things of that ilk. But it is entirely up to you. All right. I have a quick example of story for you. And I'm not leaving the meeting. Okay. And that comes from, I hit a wrong button. Two examples. So I was recently in my car and I was listening to NPR and I heard an interview with Elizabeth Vargas. And Elizabeth Vargas has been the co-host of 2020 on ABC for like 14 years or something. And she's been in the news business a long time. I mean, I know her name and recognize her from a long time being in the news business. And she has a new book out. And in her book, she talks about hiding her alcoholism while at work and how it developed and then how she got treatment. So in an hour-long interview on NPR, I heard this interview with Elizabeth, who is a new author. She is the first kind of author. She was doing that interview, and she's doing a whole bunch of interviews in order to sell more books. All right. Now, she's a big name. She has a platform. She's a well-known figure. So it's easier for her to sell more books. Also, just a note, very vulnerable in that book. It can't be easy coming out and saying, oh, yes, this person that you've been watching on TV for 20 years is an alcoholic. So her book has not only become her business, but telling her personal story has become her business. But the idea is to sell more books, and that will boost her royalty income from selling those books. Another example, Jack Canfield. Of course, most people know him from Chicken Soup for the Soul, one of the two leads of that book series. But he is very successful as an author on his own with the Success Principles, for instance. In fact, Jack has taken the ideas behind the Success Principles and other ideas that he's published, and he has turned them into his own type of coaching industry. And now he has train the trainer events where people are paying him $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 and up in order to work with him. Now, he looks at the Success Principles as a big business card, and where people get to know him, get to know his coaching techniques or what he thinks it takes to become a success. And then that has led to other components of his business, and including these events, these train the trainer events, where it could have been 30,000 10 years ago, and now he's charging a lot more. And great guy. Wish him all the success. Had the pleasure of meeting him once or twice myself, and really, really great guy. But he's not looking to sell more books. All right. If you've read the Success Principles, he's happy with that, but it's a lead in to that book, and other books are a lead into his coaching business. So there's an example of how those two paths can be at work. So just to kind of recap, the first thing you want to do is choose or determine that there's two paths. There's an author type of book, book author, and then there's the business author and having that book. And then number two, you want to pick which path is going to be for you. As long as you're determined, it doesn't matter. You can't mess it up. And then number three, you have two examples, or it's part of number two actually, two examples of Elizabeth and Jack. And then number three, you have to declare it. You have to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write this book, and then I'm going to sell this book. And I'm going to do book tours, and I'm going to get on podcasts, and I'm going to go out there and really make a go of turning this book. This book is going to be a business. It's going to be an income generator for me. Or you declare, I'm writing a book. I'm publishing a book, and I'm going to use it as a marketing tool for my business. It's the front end, and the back end is my group coaching programs, my one-on-one coaching programs, my membership site, my speaking services, whatever it is that you do that might be your business, your book is there to support it. So you're going to promise to me, you're going to pinky swear to me that once you get that book done, you're not all of a sudden going to turn into author number one, where it's like, oh, I have to become a best-selling author. I have to go on a book tour, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want you to have, book signing and things like that. It's cool, but I want you to think of that book as in the bigger picture as a marketing tool for your business. Your goal is to make money by using that book to fill your programs and to fill your one-on-one coaching calendar. Declare this for yourself so you can see it for yourself. We know the power of words. I declare it not only in writing, but I would declare it in voice as well. And then what you want to do is set your GPS. And you know how it is, where you plug in your destination to your GPS, and then it'll make a route for you, a highlighted route for you, and tell you which way to go to get to your destination. So once you declare what kind of book author you're going to be and how you're going to use that book in your life and what you're going to be doing with it, set your GPS. You tell it where you want to go, and then map out a plan to get there. And if you need help mapping out that plan, well, that's where people in the industry come from, people like me and others who can show you how to get where you want to go based on what you're declaring you want to do with your book or with your book in your business. And then number 5, stick to the highlighted route, okay? Don't decide. That's why it's so important to declare what you want, program it in your GPS. You are with it, and you're like, I am sticking with this, and this is what I'm going to do. So there's a different route between becoming a book author like Elizabeth Vargas and becoming a book author like Jack Canfield, right? 2 different routes. And those are two examples of 2 different routes out of 100,000 examples of the way you could do this. But you have, whatever it is that you declare and you create your route, you have to stick to it, right, to get to where you want to go. Just makes sense. If you meander so far, you're not going to get to where you declare you want to go. And then number 6, a little bonus here for you, get started today. The beautiful thing about wanting to write a book is that you actually don't start by sitting down at your computer or with a legal pad. You actually start it in your mind first. You think about what you want to say or what you want to write about, and your mind is working all the time. It's working while you're doing the dishes. It's working while you're walking the dog. It's working all the time on your book. So what you want to do is capture that and actually jot down a few notes from what you're already thinking about. Right? Because once you start thinking about writing a book, you're writing a book because it's in your mind first. All right, so get started with that and make it more real and more concrete by jotting down a few notes. It doesn't have to be chapter 1 and start writing chapter 1. It could be, notes about chapter 3 or things that I want to include in my book. You don't have to put it in chapters, but you want to get started today to start building on that magic and that process of writing. All right, finally, click the button below. You'll find out some more information that I have about how to help you get going on your book. I have a book bundle for you that could be a real help. It has some templates in it. It has some best of Title Idol in there, and of course, some how-to information about how to go from thinking about writing a book to actually having one in your hands. So click the button below. You'll find some special deals. And until then, this is Donna Kozik. I'm the founder of MyBigBusinessCard.com and creator and leader of the original Write a Book in a Weekend program. You take care. I will see you in the bookstore.